Glad to have you with us. Now, the President of Ukraine has offered a series of concessions to the growing number of protesters across his country, but many are insisting nothing short of his resignation will suffice. The riots have now spread to nearly half of Ukraine. The capital, Kiev, has been in the focus of much of the unrest, with the city's Independence Square witnessing most of the protesters' anger. To the west, in the city of Ivano-Frankivsk, nearly 2,000 people have occupied the regional administration building. Crowds have gathered in most major cities in western Ukraine. In Chernivtsi, protesters have barricaded themselves inside the governor's office. And in Ukraine's second city, Lviv, thousands have now surrounded the main government building. Well, Jennifer Glasse joins us live from Kiev. Jennifer, what kind of impact are these concessions going to have?
You know, Rob, I'm not sure they will have enough impact because President Yanukovych really hasn't offered anything concrete. He said he'll consider revoking laws that limit freedom of speech or freedom of expression, not necessarily revoking, but he says he'll look at them in an emergency session of Parliament on Tuesday. He'll look at possible amnesty for the dozens and dozens of protesters who've been arrested during the last 8 weeks of protest here, but nothing really concrete, nothing near what the opposition has been demanding and asking for in these weeks and weeks of protests here. They would like to see, they want to see the government to step down. They would like to see President Yanukovych resign. Many people here are very frustrated at what they see as a very corrupt government that does not have their rights in the forefront, that does not really respect their rights at all. And because it's been going on so long, it's unclear whether President Yanukovych can indeed really do anything. There's a lot of mistrust here about of the president and his intentions. Everyone's basically waiting until Tuesday when that emergency session of Parliament happens. The fragile truce that has been in place here since yesterday seems to be unraveling, at least here in Kiev, where protesters are ramping up their actions against police again on the front lines. We saw protesters earlier this evening throw stones at police again and start up their burning barricades, so tensions again running high here.
And Jennifer, we can hear the singing behind you, and obviously we've been looking at these extraordinary live pictures from Kiev at the moment of the night sky being lit up by smoke and flames. These protests are growing, aren't they?
That's right, quite determined. Now, the music you hear behind me is the Ukrainian national anthem, and they sing that here every hour on Independence Square, 24 hours a day. It's in the middle of the night here. And the protesters clearly are very determined, not only here in Ukraine, but across the country. 12 regions now involved in that kind of civil unrest. We've seen citizens going into government buildings, breaking into government buildings and occupying them. In Lviv, where they broke in yesterday, they're already barricades around that building, an indication to the government here that this unhappiness with power spreads across the country and certainly shows a lot of determinations. We're hearing now that in the smaller oblasts, in the smaller areas of Ukraine, people are beginning to look at those government buildings as well. So I don't think this is going to end anytime soon, Rob.
Jennifer Glasse, live for us in Kiev. Thank you very much indeed.